What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Welcome on in. All you wizards and clerics and rogues and warriors, each one of you come on in and take a seat. Maybe you're a dog, maybe you're a cat. But together here in this moment, we can be friends, right? All of us can get together for this moment of peace and just think and talk magic for a little bit. Welcome to the show. This is Hunt the Week. It's a weekly Magic the Gathering podcast about the Magic Arena Sealed Gauntlet League. We are playing Set Wars, and we are wrapping up week 1, and we are getting ready to start week 2. Who's excited? Who's having a good time? I know I'm having a good time, and my team's doing pretty well, so it's all working out all right for us, and these games have been really fun. The chit-chat that I'm getting to see and the matches that I'm getting to watch, I'm having a really good time. So I hope everyone out there is enjoying Set Wars like I am. Let's talk a little bit about Set Wars, right? So it seems like a slower league, right? It seems games are taking a little longer, of course, because you're getting help from people, but also not as many games are being played as quickly because, I don't want to play when someone else on my team is playing. I want to be able to help them, so less games are getting played at the same time. Matches are happening a little bit slower. Here I am at Thursday, and there's still plenty of games to be played tonight before we start getting into entry losses. So yeah, there's still plenty of games even here this late in the week because I think it's just slower and harder to do because you want to have at least some of your teammates around. Now, I know we did some solo matches on our side. Maybe you did too. Probably not the best strategy, but hey, when it comes down to it, I think it's better to get your games in than to wait for next week because I feel like the games will dry up severely at some point next week. That's kind of my thought process. End of the week next week, might be hard to find a game, especially if a bunch of teams in week 1 have extra games they need to catch up. Could be a scary situation to find games. So let's keep an eye on it and see. But let's take a look at the standings right now. As I record, it is Thursday at about noon Eastern time. These are the standings. Magi of the Disc 14-5, Mount Rushmore 13-7, the Tolarian Terrors are 13-7, the Brothers War, that's us, 12-6, Perfect Party 9-10, Fellowship of the Bling 8-8, Salty Dawns 8-9, Molta 4 8-12, 4-4s for 4, 7-9, Werewolf Viking Ninja Gorgons 6-9, Dogs Can't Play Magic 4-7, Questing Beast 2-7, ABBA 2-10. Those are the standings. We're doing pretty good, my team. I didn't expect it. Didn't expect us to do this well in week 1, but hey, hope to keep this momentum up and keep going. These are the individual standings, your top 8 players. Sawyer is 5-0, of course. Johnny M, 5-0. Chris R, 4-1. Ragu B, 4-1. Maxime R, 4-1. Aaron H, 4-1. Jason M, 3-0. And Mitchell S, 3-1. So those are the people to look out for. Those are people playing the best on the best teams, and we got a nice little fight here for top 2, right? Top 2 is all that really matters in this league. Those are the only 2 teams that make the mega draft. And we only got 3 weeks, so yeah, I hope you were able to open up some spicy cards, some up the power level cards for your deck, and get ready for a new week of Magic. Help your friends, help your teammates, try to be there for them, huh? And I'm trying to be there for my teammates. That's why this week I had on Jason M. So join me as I talk to them about Magic and Set Wars. All right, everyone. Thank you, and join me as I welcome to the show another teammate from the Brothers War. That's right. We are talking to Jay. How's it going today, Jay?
Well, John, it is going fantastically well.
Okay.
And I'm riding a little bit of a high from getting my first win in. Got it under my belt. So yeah, I'm feeling fine in cherry wine. How about you?
I'm feeling good. We played your first game. I helped you out with it earlier. You played we're going to get to what you're playing. I don't want to make any spoilers, but you got your first game into the week. We record early. This is Sunday as I record, and it feels good to start off with a win, right? You're like, yeah, undefeated.
I was a little bit worried there. I was like, well, I have something that looks like a removal spell. but yeah, no, at the end it all kind of came together, and yeah, it was a fun little deck. So won't get too much into it now, I guess, but yeah,
We're gonna
I
get
really
to it.
appreciate the help.
It's on the agenda. We're gonna get to it. This is, of course, Set Wars. You're on my team. I'm a cleric.
I'm a big stupid warrior.
You're a warrior. You're a big dumb warrior. Got your axe, got your shield, maybe,
Boo,
and
boo.
muscles out the wazoo, right?
I don't know how to spell, but I can spell creature.
Jay, I gotta ask you. I ask everyone this question: when did you start playing Magic?
I started playing in 1995, I want to say 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I went over to a friend's house, and he just had these cards, and I didn't know what the hell they were. And I don't remember any of them, except still remember the art for Wall of Swords being like just the coolest thing. And it's like, it's got the swords, and there's like that evil eye on the other side, but it's like super abstract. And then it was like 4 for a 3/5 flyer. What? That's not fair. It was just so much fun. And then after that, I immediately started. It was like it was around 4th edition, and I bought like one of those like $20 starter deck kind of things, and I bought a couple packs of the dark as like my first like packs.
Oh, that's exciting.
But I was never like one of those, like I didn't start during revised, so I didn't get any of those crazy cards, and I was always like a super flavor Timmy, right? Like I wasn't trying to go for like win rate. I was trying to go for what are just cool strategies. I liked all the black cards because I was like into all that like goth stuff in the 90s and stuff, and like I was like whatever I was feeling like, those are the kinds of decks I would play. And at the time it was like you would just, whatever decks or whatever cards you got in a pack, it's like, okay, well, I guess I got to make something out of this. It was really like a sealed deck every time. So and then like if someone that you knew got something, you would always play the hose card.
Yeah.
Just because you knew you were going to be playing him at some point soon. So I would have like hose cards against green just in my deck, just because I knew I'm going to be playing Jeff and he's going to have that. So
did you play continuously from then up until now? You take a break and come back? What was that experience like?
I definitely fell out and fell back in love with it. It's kind of happened a bunch of times. It's like it's so easy to get wrapped up in it. I don't need to tell anyone on here that. But we've all had our flings and then thought, man, I really should have been doing whatever it is you should have been doing instead of playing Magic. But then at the same time, it's like there's something about the game that's just so much fun, and the strategies just there aren't any other games that are like it in terms of strategy. And then you end up getting pulled back. So I've had plenty of times where I've during college, and I had a huge long spell of not playing, and then it just met up with Chris, and it's like, oh yeah, and then I started playing again in Origins, and then
nice,
and then it was like, and then I was off again for a while, and then I came back like Dragon's Maze and taught my wife how to play a little bit, and then and we played. But then it's always it's been weird. It's been kind of hard to find the right kind of people to play with. So that's why this league has been so awesome.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
It's just so many great people, and you get to play all these different like sets and styles too. And I've always liked sealed because I think it just evens the playing field a lot more and just makes it like it's like so random, and it's just about trying to make do with what you have. So it's great.
It's great. We got a great community. It's a great format, and we're playing Set Wars. We're playing Team Magic. So I gotta ask you, Jay, what set did you pick for Set Wars, and why did you pick that set?
All right. Well, this is an easy one. I picked Eldraine.
Oh, I love me some Eldraine.
Right. It's classic. It's not Amonkhet, so I remember it because Amonkhet was like another one of those ones where I was out of it at the time, and I came back in again right after, like right around Dominaria, I think. So I picked Eldraine also because I plan on probably not being one of the strongest players in the field. So if I lose, then I get packs that are like probably gonna have bombs in them.
Yeah.
So from kind of like the Timmy perspective, I mean, Eldraine is so much value that how can you turn it down?
I think you made the right choice with Eldraine. It's a strong set. It's a fun set.
Right?
It's got the great flavor that you love so much.
It's so much flavor.
It's such a
Oh
fun
my
set. The
God.
cards are beautiful. I got tons of styles for those cards too. So you can throw in all like the weird storyboard and storybook cards.
Yep.
And the bombs. You've already opened some bombs, right? You've got a Great Henge already. Ooh, watch out for that one.
A Great Henge it is, by the way.
Oh yeah, it is. It is great.
It is quite a sturdy henge. I can't tell you though how nervous I was as I saw like what my pool was, because man, that is some pressure.
Yeah.
As soon as you open like the Great Henge and Wicked Wolf and all these and Feast, it's like, hey man, if I lose, it's on me.
I think you have the best pool on our team of good cards, good rares. I feel like you do have the best pool open. So I'm excited to see how your games go, because I want to see the Great Henge get down, and I want to see you draw a bunch of cards, eat a bunch of food, and get that cat back 5 times to drain somebody out, you know. So you can tell we're excited about Set Wars. We're having a great time with our team. I hope your team is having a similar kind of thing, looking at decks, having fun, playing practices, and helping each other. It's the thing to do. It's just a great time, and Set Wars is it is a blast. Jay, new question. This is a question I might be asking some new guests to say, come on, is what is your favorite Magic card and why?
Yeah, now it's so hard, right? Because
there's a lot.
There are over 100 Magic cards.
Yeah.
And that is true. So I think I have to say it's probably Demonic Tutor.
Okay.
And I think it's because of the possibilities that it represented at the time. That kind of like drew me in. This idea of you ask the devil for one thing and he gives you one thing, and it's whatever you want. And it's again, flavor wise, it was just like this like everything else in Magic is spells, creatures, all that stuff, it's all there, but like that one idea of like just ask the devil for one favor, and it's pretty cheap too. It's a cheap favor.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And then the idea that like they played on that later, and they had other like, okay, well, the devil asks more and more in return from you as you like go on, and eventually it's you got to pay a lot of life for it with the Grims and all these other tutors, but in the beginning it's just like, oh, just whatever. It's just such a cool concept, and obviously the art and stuff, just that old alpha art is really what kind of like
Black was creepy back then. It was creepy, man.
Creepy. The old Unholy Strength and stuff, and the old like they just.
I've got a copy of Terror, an old copy of Terror. That just like
the shriveled up guy with that was one of my favorite.
I don't like it. Yeah,
absolutely,
creepy and weird.
And like the old Pestilence.
Yeah, that's the card I was just trying to
like,
think about. Like, this stuff will give you nightmares as a kid, and that's why I love looking at them.
It was great. It was so great for the flavor of it, and I think that was really like, honestly, Magic was the NFTs of the old days, right? It was like something that like you kind of got one, and if it became cool, or if it ended up being cool, like hey, I got this card, and it's like, oh, it's really awesome. But half the time we didn't know in the beginning. It was like, I got a Sylvan Library. What is this crap? It's like 2 mana do nothing. It's like, oh, it draws 3 cards every turn, whatever. But like as an early Timmy, I didn't realize that. It was all about like, does it look cool? Does it have like a cool flavor to it? And like, I don't want to go to a library. Like, what is an elf library with a picture of trees? I'm not putting that in my deck. But I'll definitely play Terrors all day. So. Yeah,
I don't need this weird land that taps for 2 colors, but I'll pick a 4/4 for 6. That looks great.
See, I didn't see the point of dual lands. I didn't see like why they were so powerful at all. It was I probably shouldn't be admitting any of this.
Oh well, camera, I mean,
it is what it is. It's like we valued things totally differently, kind of when it came out, or at least I did, and I don't know. I mean, it's a game to me, but games are meant to be fun too.
There's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
A lot of fun, and that's something about Magic that not everybody talks about or thinks about, is like the lore and the Vorthos and things like that. But it is a really cool part of Magic. It's cool to see that you're so into all that stuff, because that's not a lot of people's jam, man. It's fun to talk and think about that stuff. Diabolic Tour, the devil making deals. It's awesome.
Level 1 flavor judgment. Look at the flavor text on Wall of Swords too. That card. It's all about this final judgment that this person gives her final sacrifice to save people from the evil one that is that eye. And it's like that whole card just by itself, if you've never seen the concept of Magic, represents so much of the promise of this is this virtuous sacrifice that's being done to prevent evil, and it's just all these and she animates her weapons to prevent to save people. It's just such a cool and then it's in Baller Wall. Awesome.
That is a great card.
Flavor judge.
Jay, now you've been in the league for a little while, right? I know you've been in at least before SNC, I want to say, because I know you were a Riveteer. Do you remember what your first league was?
Yeah, so I guess I've been playing since about Neon Dynasty, and I just I think it feels like a lot longer though, right? Because every set and I mean the side events and things like that, it goes on for a while. Your deck keeps evolving and changing over time, so it feels like this process that evolves. So it could be a couple weeks, but it's you have a lot of really intense games and experiences the whole time. And yeah, it's definitely is one of the most intense things I do during the week. So glad to have it.
You've been in a few of them, so you've seen some things happen. You've been a part of things. Is there anything in the league that you would like to change? One thing?
I like the idea of the mulligan rule coming around, and
on packs or on pools or on.
I'm still not sure on that. Maybe on one pack, right? Like something like that, where so it isn't so extreme, because I think if you do an entire new pool, then I mean you can end up back where you were. But I mean that's part of the whole point of Sealed, right? Once you start selecting one, then you're kind of tweaking it, and then maybe that changes the spirit of it. Yeah, so it's really hard when you start getting into changes that people because there's traditionalists, right? So as soon as you start changing stuff, you're gonna upset people that like it the way it was. But at the same time, when you talk about the London Mulligan, that's made things so much better, right? In the gameplay. So I actually honestly couldn't really think of a whole lot else. I've been thinking about this because you gave me these questions. I couldn't think of anything that I would change about this league, because it changes every time, right? So it already kind of does all the changing for me. It's
that's one from the league committee right there, right? That take your hat off for the league committee. Can't even think of something to change this guy. He's they already did it, and they're already fixing the stuff that I haven't even thought about yet. Okay.
I just, yeah, seriously, hats off to everybody that puts this together, because they do a great job of keeping their finger on the pulse and making sure that if there is something that goes on that people don't like, then it gets changed, or it gets addressed at least. And so as someone who's not really big on the competition aspect, it's not, that part isn't as relevant to me. I honestly just like the ability to play with some cool people and try different sets, and they're doing a great job with all their improvements and automation and all the integration they have with Google Sheets and everything else. So yeah, just hats off to them, and huge yeah.
So many smart people that do the Google Sheet stuff, man. I don't understand any of that. Not a lick, as they would say down here. I don't get it. That's and then they got the people that used to do all the breakdowns of all the numbers and all the math. Thank God for the smart people in this league, because I can't do any of that stuff.
I mean, so my background is in virtual reality, and I do not get databases and all of that data integration stuff. Like it's a totally different bag. And so like it isn't just like, it's like a whole other level of smart person stuff, because it's like integration and systems and architecture and but yeah, it's awesome that we have it. I love the looking for a match mechanism. It makes it so much easier, so you don't have to like
the pack
it's
bot.
not like a political thing or anything.
Yeah, everything's great. Everyone that does all that stuff, you're wonderful and amazing. If you use any kind of talent to support anything in the league, you are incredible. Well, Jay, we got to wrap this up because we got games to play, man. We got to go play some games. Currently, as I record, we're sitting at 4-1. Not a terrible start for us, but we're a little behind some of the other teams. We got to get some more games in. So, Jay, what is your greatest Magic accomplishment?
So it isn't really a tournament or anything else that I did. Again, I'm not a huge player. I've really enjoyed playing at some kind of events, but I would say there was a while where I was working at the Goggle Works in Pennsylvania. It's an art studio that had hosted IX, which is Fantasy Arts Festival, that had one of the biggest fantasy arts festivals in North America. So they had tons of Magic artists for a couple days. And since I was working there, I got to like talk to all of them, and that was kind of repeated every year. So
awesome.
I got to like, talk to like Lars Grant West and Rob Alexander and then since I was really into just kind of like making VR stuff, I would take their art and like cut it up into different, framed things and like make some like, like little parallaxy thing. And it was like a little mini hackathon every night or every kind of like day where you're kind of just going through, looking at everyone's artwork and then trying to play around and talk to other artists and stuff at night. And that was probably the most fun I've had, like in that kind of context, because for me, just being able to like talk to the people that made all that artwork that really kind of brought me into the game in the first place was it kind of put a whole other level on it, right? And it was like it's like the VH1 behind the music for all that art and Magic that it was so inspirational. So
when I first met you, it was at a GP. I didn't know you. You were one of Chris's friends, Chris R. We went down to meet up with Chris R. You came down and you brought your VR setup and you were showing us how the cards, and you would go and show the other artists and stuff. And it was so cool that you would put on this VR headset and you would look around and there'd just be these giant 3D cards. Oh man, it was a really neat thing you were doing with them. And I know you were really talking to like all the artists of that GP and stuff. And it was really cool.
It was fun at the time. It was the kind of thing that was like, it never really, my let me just say I didn't major in business. So it was never kind of a thing where I was like really good at marketing it or turning it into something that turned a profit or anything. It was always just something that I just enjoy creating things and programming and like this kind of whole fantasy aesthetic, but also the strategy and all the thoughtfulness that goes into it. And it's been awesome being under a couple of teams with your leadership. You've definitely expanded my horizons on being a little bit more Spike-like and a little less Timmy-like. So appreciate that. But yeah, good stuff.
Well, you're a great player, Jay, and we've been in the last few leagues, and when we're buddies, we look at builds for each other and stuff. And I'm actually, I'll tell you this, I'm always very impressed by the builds that you make. I every time I'm looking at your pool and I look at the build, I'm like, yeah, he nailed it. This guy nailed this thing. It's like I usually have very few notes for you. So you're a great player, man. You're happy to have you on the team. The Brothers War. What are you wearing this week?
I am currently wearing Urza's Shades.
Urza's Shades. I'm a Gauntlet of Might myself.
It's a strong glove. It accents just about everything flawlessly.
Yeah, and those glasses that some say ruby tinted lenses, but hey, we're just tapping them for red. Okay.
Thank you. That's all we want to do.
Thank you for coming on the show, Jay. Let's get out there and go get some more wins. I hope your team's doing well out there. I know I'm excited to be a part of mine. I hope you're having a great time with yours. Thank you again, Jay.
Hey, anytime.
All right, man. Have a good one. Later.
Jason, I love the perspective. I love the perspective of the art and the flavor, the Vorthos that, not maybe many of us are that into because we're all such spiky magic sealed limited players, But to hear that kind of talk, it was great. Love talking to Jason. Jay's a real fun guy. I've been to a few GPs with him. Had a lot of fun with that guy. He wore a clown wig in the interview. Hilarious stuff. This guy, he's a funny guy. Gets me going. And that's it. Who's ready to start week 2 of Set Wars? I'm ready. I hope you are. I hope you got your decks primed. Play some practice matches. That's what it's all about. Get those practice matches in. They go a long way. They help you out. Practice against your teammates. Practice against your opponents. Practice. Right? Let's get this stuff to Carnegie Hall. And let's get the shuffler fixed. Because I think it's still broken. I think it is. But until they fix it, I hope that you get to keep a good 7. And I hope that shuffler, I hope it's in your favor. And I'll see you right here on the show next week for Set Wars Week 3. Bye, everybody.